You're watching Talking Points, a focus on the political scene in Lubbock and across the South Plains.
Welcome back. Here's a look at some of the political headlines of the past week. Administrators from Texas Tech and Angelo State testified this week in front of the House Appropriations Committee, talking about their priorities for state funding for the upcoming budget. As Chancellor Mitchell told us earlier this year, they're continuing the practice of being thoughtful and very specific on funding needs. Tech also expecting approval this session from Midwestern State to join the Tech system. And after a 3-year investigation, the Inspector General of the Department of Defense says that now Panhandle Congressman Ronnie Jackson violated alcohol policy while working as the president's doctor, berated co-workers, and made lewd comments about a female employee. It's the same accusations that preceded the Levelland native's withdrawal of his nomination to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs. But once again, Jackson has categorically denied every allegation, calling the whole thing a political hit job. Politics sometimes plays a role in emergency aid as well. The White House, through the Federal Emergency Management Agency, makes funding available to businesses and people after disasters. And that's why those disaster declarations you hear about all the time are so important. But they have to be approved by the White House. And as we record this, Lubbock is the only county in our immediate area to be eligible for federal assistance. We sent KAMC Matthew Stell to find out what to do if you need help but live in our neighboring counties.
We have one of our areas, Seth Ward especially, here in Hill County, that got a lot of the homes, and it's a pretty, low-income area for Hill County. Had a bunch of busted pipes. 19, the last count, folks that had reported damages to the water pipes.
And unfortunately, they aren't getting help from the federal government. That's because, according to FEMA guidelines, if you don't live in Lubbock County, you're not eligible for assistance that could help out with damages from last month's snow event.
It's one of those things, sir, that, we have to meet a certain damage amount before we qualify.
That's been the case here on the South Plains, but State Senator Charles Perry says the situation is twofold.
And they've been a little frustrated with FEMA that they haven't designated all the counties that they're hearing about. But part of the problem is FEMA's not hearing from all the counties.
That's why he's highly encouraging folks in those counties to fill out the state's new damage assessment survey.
It's literally a application for an individual house, i.e. if you had broken pipes that created significant water damage and you're looking at replacing sheetrock and all the things that come with it, this could help.
And more people with legitimate problems completing the survey gets that county back on FEMA's radar.
Hill County didn't qualify, but yet and still we have this out right here that people can use. So anybody that did have damages, they can get online and they can get some help.
The truth of the matter is, it's dollars that they've paid into. We paid into as a state. We're a donor state. Individuals pay into. The pride factor needs to be set aside, because ultimately, when you have disasters, some people are going to get it that applied, and those that didn't apply are going to be left out.
All right, we're always pleased to bring in Lubbock Congressman Jody Arrington for more on what's happening in Washington and what's happening here. Governor Abbott saying that as of the 10th, businesses will be open here at 100% customer capacity and no mask mandate. First, your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's welcome news for West Texans who feel like we are at a place where the trends in terms of COVID cases, people showing up in the hospital, are going down. The vaccinations are going up. And I think it's we're ready to take care of ourselves and exercise the judgment that I know we're more than capable of exercising, to socially distance where needed, to mask up where needed. And I think that's generally the posture from folks in West Texas is, we can manage things on our own, given the risks, given the caseload at hospitals. I think Lubbock's done a great job. West Texas has done a great job, and it's welcome news.
And what about the latest federal COVID relief bill on those terms? I know that was something you thought didn't carry a whole lot of relief, a whole lot of added pork in that thing. What prompted the no vote for folks, and what's next on that horizon?
Well, it's extremely disappointing because, number one, there are at least $1 trillion in the system throughout the country that we passed mainly in December. We're talking about 60 days ago. That still hasn't been spent. We've appropriated money, but now we're going to consider this $2 trillion COVID, quote, relief bill, most of which goes the things that aren't even germane to COVID relief, like bailing out union pensions, and any number of things, but it also prevents our recovery. It inhibits it because we're bailing out schools around the country that haven't opened, so we give them a pass and incentivize them to keep their doors shut to their students. Same thing with cities and states, $350 billion. All the data that I've seen shows that we may have 20 billion in need out there. Some states are flush with cash. There's a surplus in California, but they're going to get the lion's share of the money because they shut down, and the method by which we allocate this money is going to be based on unemployment. So we're going to once again reward bad behavior. We're going to disincentivize people going back to work by paying them more to be on unemployment. So there's a number of things that are problematic for me. I'm always willing, and have for the last 5 COVID bills, to work with Democrats to solve these problems and to help our fellow Americans get back on their feet and our country move forward. That is not the case here, and not a single Republican, for the first time in any COVID bill, has supported this COVID bailout and boondoggle. And it's disappointing because they're wrapping the flag of COVID around it, and it's anything but, for the most part.
You know, with that in mind, too, I know you sent a letter to the president asking that he consider keeping the Title 42 provisions when allowing new immigrants into this country. Can you explain for folks what that is and what's happening at the border now?
Well, we've had an onslaught of executive orders, so it's hard to make sense out of all of them, but a number of them have rolled back the restrictions on the illegal border crossings and border security measures that were put in place by President Trump. I'm talking about the Stay in Mexico policy, where we had 25,000 folks staying there while their asylum claims were being processed. Now they're coming over across the border here into our country. He's reinstituted catch and release. He stopped holding sanctuary cities accountable, stopped funding the border wall, and now with Title 42, this is really the last measure in place to protect Americans, not only from all the crime and all the drugs and various things that come across the border with illegal crossings, but the spread of COVID. The irony, Bryan, is that the president's putting restrictions on the American people and mandates on the American people while having just a free-for-all policy with illegal immigrants crossing the border to move about the country. Again, very irresponsible, very much a double standard, and we're asking him to keep that Title 42 prevention in place. We'll see what he does.
You were a speaker at last weekend's CPAC event in Orlando talking about energy policy, which, of course, has been on the mind of a lot of Texans after the winter storm fiasco. What should be done here to keep that from happening again? And is this something the federal government should be a part of?
Well, there's a number of things. The answer to your last question is the federal government should not be a part of it. I think Texans know how to govern Texas, and there are lessons to be learned here for sure. We have to have the proper oversight and the basic safeguards for power reserves. We have to know how to get ahead of the power curtailment or the rollout plan in a situation like that. And, you know, there's an appropriate role for a light touch and limited regulation. We don't want FERC and the federal government to take over our power grid. 99% of the time, the open and competitive power market serves Texans very well. We had a once-in-a-generation storm, and again, it's appropriate to look at these things and determine how we can be better prepared in the future, like winterizing our assets. I mean, we usually are facing peak season in August, not in the winter months. So there were a lot of factors here. But Texas can manage Texas, and we can put the safeguards in place to prevent it from happening again. There will be a cost associated with this. That cost is going to be passed to ratepayers. So preparing for a 30-year storm costs more than preparing for every decade storm, and that's just something that the state lawmakers are going to have to grapple with.
And in the final seconds we have here, we still don't have disaster relief available for counties in the area other than Lubbock. Are there ways to get that changed with the White House?
Well, I've sent letters individually and collectively with other members of the Texas delegation imploring the president not to just designate some of these larger population center counties. He started with mainly blue counties. He's gotten some of the West Texas counties now in the mix in terms of declaring a disaster and allowing some of that assistance to flow. But there are very rural parts where you had large ag production facilities that were having to shut down and costing millions of dollars. In fact, the Littlefield powdered milk plant took it in the chin really hard, pouring a lot of their product out, dumping it in the fields because they had to redirect power to residential areas. So these are disasters. We pay our taxes for the earthquake victims. We pay our taxes to support wildfires and other disasters. And when we face that, we should expect the benefit of the taxpayer-funded safety net. And that's the argument we're making to President Biden and his administration.
Always a pleasure to talk to Lubbock Congressman Jody Arrington for the latest on what's going on in D.C. We appreciate the time. We'll talk to you soon.
God bless. Good to be with you, Brian.